Genetically created baby, Chris Walken.
Yeah. Precisely on schedule. Hey, it's about that time again. It's only August, but we can already start looking towards next year. That being 2017. There's already a bunch of rumors out there at this point. So let's dig into a few of these, specifically ones that are pertinent to parks in our area.
We don't usually dive into rumors on this show, but we're doing it today, because what the hell?
Let's start with our very own Six Flags Great Adventure. All indications are they will be getting a Justice League ride. We did want to see it. I did want to see it. I know I said it. When we were talking about Justice League, we were talking about it at St. Louis. I know I said I'd like to see it at Great Adventure. And now we are right on the precipice of getting an announcement that will make it official, but it looks like it's going to happen. You don't seem excited. What's the matter?
I really like the Justice League Dark Rides. They're very well done. They're a lot of fun.
We've done two now.
Right.
St. Louis and Six Flags Great America.
I just don't like that Six Flags is putting these in every park. It's making this ride not special.
Well, is anything in Six Flags special?
Yeah, well, it means something like El Toro.
Okay.
You're not going to get it in any other... You're only going to get it at one Six Flags park.
Yeah, I thought of Kingda Ka first, actually.
Kingda Ka is another one, sure.
Only one of those in a Six Flags park. Only one tallest in the world.
I don't really want any park mirroring any other park. I want there to be a reason to visit all of these Six Flags parks. I don't want them to all just start to have the same rides.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you're saying.
So I'm kind of torn. Because Justice League is a great ride. It looks like we'll probably have it right in our backyard. But at the same time, I kind of don't like that they're putting these in every one of their parks. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not going to go back on what I said and how I left off the Justice League discussion, where I said, I think I kind of made a call to Six Flags management and said, hey, if you want to put one in, Great Adventure is a good candidate. And I'm going to stick to that. Great Adventure is a park that does need a dark ride. So I'm happy that it's most likely getting one. They do have Houdini's Great Escape, which is a dark ride-like. And it's sort of it's something different. It's an adventure experience aside from a thrill ride, which is good for that park. But a full, complete dark ride, it definitely could still use, and I think this is great. But yes, I know what you're saying. I think it's the difference between the idea that every Six Flags park might eventually get one of these Sally-made dark ride adventures, and then the fact that every Six Flags park may get the same exact Sally-made dark ride adventure. I think every park should have one of these, but they should each have a different theme.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, I'm not in any way opposed to every park getting one of these SimPod on a track dark ride adventures. But yes, if they all were going to be different, I would be even more for it. They could even all be superhero themed, but maybe do a different twist each time. Because there's so many characters they could use. There's too many for the one version of the ride they have that they had to just have them be mysteriously captured at the start, because they just couldn't have all these characters in the ride. You can't. There's just not enough time to give them all screen time or face time. So yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. This will be the third round, 2017, and it does take the the fun edge off a little bit, because now it's like, well, this is the same ride again.
Yeah, I agree that Great Adventure needs a dark ride, a full-blown dark ride. That would be great.
Yeah, I think this will fit in well. We could also throw in Magic Mountain here, because they're also rumored to be getting this very same ride. Also good. Magic Mountain even more so. Magic Mountain really needs something that's not a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's like they've gone out of their way to do nothing but roller coasters. They got obsessed with having the top roller coaster count in the world, having more roller coasters than any other park. They did it. They've maintained it now by, even in cheap ways, by like adding a lot of junior coasters. They have more junior coasters than any other park in the world, and that's just kind of cheap, but they do it. And they've gone so far as to remove log flumes and flat rides just to keep more coasters coming in. So they really need something else to do in that park that's not a roller coaster. So they're in more desperate need. Even Great Adventure has a couple of flats and a classic sky ride, a classic parachute ride. They had Houdini, we mentioned already. So they had a few other things already, but the dark ride would be welcome there just as much, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it'd be... I know, we said this too at the time in our Justice League review. I know this came up. We said, I'd rather see a totally unique experience each time, but I also know I'm not going to get that. So it's like, in that case, then I guess I'd rather see the same ride go in, though. I'd rather see it go in than not. I'd rather, than stop it at the, 4 so far? 3? Only 3 so far. If they're not going to do an original experience each time, and I know they're not, then I guess, put 2 or 3 more of the same. I'd still rather have that. I mean, would you feel the same way, or you don't?
Yeah, I'll say so. This is good-ish, I'll say.
Yeah, I know. It's if Great Adventure was part of the first 2, we would have been so much more excited. But
even if it was part of the second round, but the third round now,
it's just starting to get kind of He's like, oh man, you guys are you're really gonna do it. I know we kind of half predicted it, but now it's coming to fruition. It's like, oh man, they're really gonna just do it, huh? They're just gonna put the same thing in every park.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to our next story. Our other home, within more or less home distance park, Six Flags New England. We're looking at ride removal. Which that is official.
Yes, that is.
2016 will be the last season for Splashwater Falls. Not a great name. It doesn't describe the ride at all. It's the spinning raft ride. It's from Wildwater, or whatever the hell that company is, that builds almost every water slide that you know.
Whitewater West.
Yeah, Whitewater West.
So it's official that Splashwater Falls is going away.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, it was transported. It was not new. It was used. It was at Astro World in Texas first, then moved to New England after that park closed, and only been in New England for about 10 years. And now it's closing, and I think not moving, right? It's done, as far as we know.
Yeah, as far as we know right now, it's just done.
It's done. It's slightly disappointing, I think.
The only other one that will be left standing is the one at Six Flags America.
No, Iowa had one.
Oh, Iowa had one?
Adventureland, Iowa.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. One. You're right.
Don't forget that one.
You're right.
It's a fun-ish ride. Let's go back to the ish.
If you like spinning, it's a fun ride.
Yeah, but the spinning has not always been consistent over the years.
That's true.
It seems like there's been times when they've replaced those rubber mats that spin it, and then other years it's like you're working off ones that are 2 years old already and they're worn out, and then they didn't spin much. It's a mixed bag. We've gotten some really great rides on those, and then some not so great rides, and it's kind of back and forth. I don't know. It's just okay.
Yeah.
The big thing that's bad about it is that New England needs to have water rides. They have a Great Rapids, and we've covered that before, but that's it. They don't have a log flume. They took the log flume out to put in Splashwater Falls, and now they're taking that out, and all indicators so far that it's not going to be for a water ride. So then you have nothing else. They removed their Shoot the Chutes as well a couple of years ago. So they'll have nothing but rapids? So that's not good. That's bad. It's a bad call.
Yeah.
So I don't like that, but anyway. Supposedly they're going to move the slingshot attraction. It's an upcharge, the upcharge slingshot attraction, which was there from Six Flags St. Louis. Just interesting trivia. But that's something that you could easily just move over to a different spot because it's like a temporary. It's not a permanent park installation. It's
a weird like traveling model almost.
It's like a traveling model, yeah. So whatever. But supposedly, what are they talking about getting?
A 4D free fly coaster, like the Joker at Six Flags Great Adventure.
What a novel idea! What the Joker? What?
Batman the Ride at Six Flags Fiesta Texas.
What? You mean there's 2 of them already, and they might put a third?
It looks like they may do it.
That's something that they always do. Yeah, what's going on, Six Flags? So here we go. We can push the argument out further now. There's nothing much to say about that. I mean, we just wrote Joker. We did a little video on it. It's cool. But you even said that you're not sure if you want to see a lot more of these.
Because it's one of the most extreme things that I've ever done.
Yeah, it is extreme. And one of the things that I said was, I might not mind seeing them if they went custom with it and did some more stuff with it, something different. I don't even know if that necessarily has to be larger, but just has to do some more stuff. And not just stop at the pure proof of concept level, but do a little more with it. And indicators right now at New England are that it's going to be just the same thing. So, that's not good.
I'm just a little surprised because I think it is such an extreme ride. I guess the public must be really taking to these 2 because it seems like they're going to build a third. I wouldn't have thought.
Didn't have the whole crowd doing it though.
What's that?
Great Adventure didn't have the whole crowd doing it. Like just part of the crowd of any given day were doing it.
But I guess they feel it's enough of a hit. I wouldn't think these rides would be hits because they're too much. I'm surprised really anyone is taking to them besides people that are a little more hardcore.
Yeah, for what it is, it's good. It's the better version. It's better than the Intamin.
Than the Intamin's X-Men. Oh, definitely.
As it was
yes.
said. I mean, that, I guess, it did get back to Six Flags enough that it's not a big enough hit.
Oh, there's X-Men.
Because they only did one of those.
Right, yeah.
And they didn't do any more. They held off for a couple of years, waited for the SNS to come out, and then now they're all over that.
But, it is interesting that they didn't do another X. Which you can buy. You can install those.
Absolutely. It's been done.
Right. So it's interesting that they didn't go that route.
Such a huge ride. It's probably a maintenance nightmare, I would imagine. So
sure.
I guess that's probably big reasons why they didn't do it. They're doing these rides. So, I mean, whatever. New England doesn't have a lot of space. So I guess, to get a thrill, a good, quick, cheap thrill in the limited space they have, I guess that's a good call for them in that sense. We're in an area of New York that's kind of in between Great Adventure and New England, and this is a huge population center. So a lot of people are in the same boat as us that are in between those 2 parks. So just doing the same ride from New England to Great Adventure, I think, is a little weird. They were going to do this once before with The Dark Knight, and then it didn't happen, and I was very glad it didn't happen. And now here we are, and who knows? Maybe the same thing will happen. Maybe it'll not happen in the end, and that'll be good, I think, because I'm not such a big fan. It's one thing to replicate rides across the chain in some of the different parks, but there are certainly certain pairings of parks that are closer than others that I think is really stupid. And Great Adventure in New England might be a little too close.
Yeah,
I don't know about doing the same ride between those 2 parks.
Well, the Dark Knight thing was a little different though because
it sucked.
What happened was, the reviews came out that it was just such a shitty ride that they had to cancel the New England one.
Yeah, well, I think the town held it up, though, with permits was the main reason.
Well, this is one of those parks where the town absolutely hates the park.
Yeah. But again, the larger problem here is just current Six Flags, current
management.
Jim Reed Anderson management, right? That's who he is.
Jim Reed Anderson.
And what he's doing, this regime currently is very big on same ride at every park.
Yeah, it's like they try something once. If it's enough of a hit, if it reaches a certain level that they're comfortable with, then they'll just replicate the shit out of it across the chain.
Yeah, and I know
They did that with the Super Loops, too.
Yeah, Super Loops was first. Then we got Justice League, and now we got 4D Free Fly. And it's almost like, if nothing changes right now, it's like you could predict that's the major installations that are going to go in for 18 and 19, too.
Yeah.
They're just going to, parks that didn't, whoever doesn't have the 4D Free Fly will get that. Whoever doesn't have Justice League will get that. And I think there's only like 2 parks that haven't gotten a Super Loop, but they'll get that. And it's like, that's not good.
No, it's not.
Maybe right now, more than any other era, is Six Flags really just playing to the idea that our parks are regional in every way and no one travels from one to the other. It's just whoever lives within the 50-mile radius of each one, and that's it. Because they certainly seem that that's what they're doing. I mean, they were during the Coaster Wars. That's when they were the most playing the chain. Every park got its own thrill.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a period before that, though, like in the 80s, they would replicate. Well, actually, the 80s was they were big on the ride rotation they were doing, where they would take the same ride and move it. They did that with the bobsled coasters. They did that with the stand-up coasters. But that's also still kind of played on the idea that you didn't travel to this Six Flags yet to see this ride, so that after 3 seasons, we're actually going to literally take it apart, put it on trucks, and move it to yours, so that now you can get it. Then the 90s, because Parks and Coasters were at an all-time mainstream high as far as exposure and I guess numbers of people that were going to them. They did allow for each park to be unique. And that waned, but they were still doing unique enough things for a while, even through Shapiro's era. And now, though, they're really going back to this philosophy of we're just going to play the locals and that's it. So it's bad or it's not good specifically for us, because we do travel across the country to all of them, and there's a lot of sameness going on, and we don't like it. So if you just stick with your local and that's all you ever see, I guess any one of these installations is great for you. But for us, and I think there's still a lot of people like us that travel around.
Oh, sure.
This is not good. So if you're listening, Mr. Anderson, and you might be, because he did hear my plea about Great Adventures Justice League, so I'm going to say that's the only reason why they're getting it is because of me. And therefore, Mr. Anderson, please diversify. It's not worth putting the same thing in every park. I think in the long run, it doesn't play out well. It'd be best if you've diversified, because the Six Flags name is so well known. It's such a household name. It's so iconic. I mean, you have such a well-known brand. Even some of the more casual park goers that won't travel to a certain location just for a park, like we will. That's what we do. But now I understand there's a lot of people that don't do that. But still, people do travel for a multitude of reasons. And when they do travel to a certain location and they have an extra day and they look and they see, oh, there's a Six Flags park in this area. I didn't realize that. Cool. They might go, and it'd be a lot more of a fulfilling experience and a more satisfying experience for that individual if there was different things that weren't in their local Six Flags park that they're used to. I know they're not pulling unique things out, so there's still the unique mine trains and some of the older rides that are around. But I mean, if everything that's been put in the last 5 years is the same, I mean, that sucks. Even for that casual guy that went to Magic Mountain on a whim. Well, Magic Mountain's a bad example because that does have so many things that no other park has. But whatever, St. Louis. I went to St. Louis on a whim because he was in the area for some other reason. But then, there's Six Flags here, so let me go. He should have something that he doesn't have at home. Mm-hmm. That's new, current technology, but different. So I hope they get off this kick.
It's like, do you get excited if you go into a park and you see that it has a like an SLC or even a Batman the Ride? I mean, I love Batman the Ride, but if I see it's part of the park lineup, it's hard to get excited for it because there are just so many of them. That's
a very good question. Were you asking me, or
Yeah.
I feel like you were asking the audience.
Well, both.
Because it is a good, challenging question. And I think the answer lies in how much you've traveled, though. Mm-hmm. Because I know, you're asking me, and no. And and I know we've covered this when we've talked about inverted coasters before. I know, and Batman the Ride and where it falls in the overall hierarchy of inverted coasters. It's like not fair because that is a kick-ass ride, but
Right.
if only because it's been replicated so many times, it does take something away from it, and it does not get me excited wherever I am. When we, the most recent we did our Texas swing, and there was 3 in that same vacation that we took, and that was not something that I was anticipating. It was just something I was going to do as part of that, but it wasn't in any way a major pull factor. It wasn't something that I was the most excited for. No.
And this is how it's going for me with Justice League. I'm not quite there yet, but it's getting there pretty quick.
It's almost going to be Batman the Ride level soon.
Yeah, where it's like, it is a great ride. I can say that unquestionably, but if it's in almost every park, then it's like, another one, all right.
Yeah, that's a great way. That is a great parallel you just drew there with Batman the Ride. Yeah, it is. It's exactly that. It's the Batman the Ride effect. I think that's perfect. You can dub it an effect. It's its own thing. It's the Batman the Ride effect. It's no matter how good something is, if you replicate it too many times, you can water it down. You can take something away. And at that point, it truly becomes only special to those who are the most casual of park goers that either don't travel to the other locations that have the same ride or don't even know that it exists.
Right.
And still think like Batman the Ride, Success Ride Adventure, that's it, right? That's all I know. And have never even looked up and bothered to look into the fact that there's more of them, and just thinks that it's a special, unique experience at that park. It's a real case of the more knowledge you have can sometimes take something away from your experiences, or you become jaded.
I'm the one that jaded you.
Speaking of which, aren't they going to replace those guys? That's been a rumor. I mean, in all seriousness, that was rumored like 10 years ago that Aerosmith, any day now, Aerosmith might be replaced in Rock and Roller Coaster. You know, they're getting old.
Well, hold on.
They're not that relevant anymore. And then it's like 2016 and they're still going strong.
This was my understanding from the very beginning. When they opened this ride in whatever that was, 99, I think it was.
99, yeah.
This is what I thought, like, the first time I did it. I thought, oh, they're going to swap out the band every couple of years.
Was that just your
I just
thought?
automatically thought that.
Oh, that was just your thought. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about any rumor I heard or anything. I just in my own head. I thought, oh, okay, a couple of years, it'll be some other huge rock band.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that they would stick with Aerosmith forever. It's kind of shocking.
It's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Well, even in 99, rock and roll was already waning. Now there's like, it's gone. It's underground, if anything. It's totally out of the mainstream. So you only had a certain amount of bands you could pull from, and most of them wouldn't, they consider it selling out. Signing a contract with Disney, and they probably just wouldn't do it.
No, and I think it was because they had this song, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, which was featured in Armageddon. The song was a huge hit, movie was a hit. So I think it was just natural. And that was a Disney film, Armageddon.
It was?
Yeah, they had that Armageddon preview thing at MGM.
Oh, that's right.
For a long time.
I do remember that. Yeah.
And they had the prop, the thing that the rover thing, they had it in front of Great Movie Ride, I remember, for a little while. So I think that's the reason why they went with Aerosmith, because they were already working with them.
That's what I think of Aerosmith.
This is Thanklin Fordrick with Thanks for Riding Early Access News. Hersheypark has announced Triple Tower, a new for 2017 Triple Tower ride. It'll feature triple towers, 3 towers, 1 themed for the Hershey Kisses, 1 for Hershey Reese's, and 1 for Hershey. The Hershey Kisses Tower is 80 feet tall and will accommodate 12 riders. The Reese's Tower is 131 feet tall and accommodates 16 riders. And the Hershey's Tower will be 189 feet tall. We'll take 20 riders at a time on the most thrilling tower adventure. The towers will feature both space shot and turbo drop modes. This triple tower makes me want to hump the air with excitement.
Thank you, Thanklin, for that breaking news. It looks like Hersheypark is getting a triple tower called Triple Tower.
Yep, it's a terrible name. It's just too... it's way too straightforward.
Absolutely lazy.
Okay, so they put it in 3 drop towers.
They're theming it to the chocolate bars, which is like, that's lazy too. I understand that it's fitting for them, but at the same time, it's lazy. They're really, actually, I think they're playing off of the fact that their height scale, for the kid, for really it's just kind of for kids who are growing and they want to see how tall they are, is based on the candy bars and the different products. And it's kind of like they're playing off that, because I think the Kisses is the shorter one, and then Reese's is the middle one, and then the Hershey bars is like is one of the tall ones. I think Jolly Rancher is the tallest one, though. I want to say.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's like Jolly Rancher.
If you're like 56 inches and over.
It's
something.
like I'm not even that tall, kind of thing. Yeah. it's like you're too tall to ride Great Bear because your feet will hit something.
Okay.
No, that's not what it is. It's the tallest one. It's 54 inches. So.
All right.
They're kind of playing off that, but it's like it's weird because it's like this is your new ride. I don't know, do something more with it. But Hershey likes to be lazy sometimes, so this is classic lazy Hershey.
So they're putting in 3 SNS towers.
They're SNS, which is good.
Right.
They got a good brand going there.
So they haven't
we haven't seen a new SNS in a while.
Right.
By the way.
Well,
so this is pretty huge.
There's a reason for that. No, the reason why we haven't seen an SNS tower in a long time is simply because most parks have put one in. They put one in back in like the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, okay. That's what.
Hershey's just getting around to it now. There are only a handful of major parks that don't have a drop tower of some kind.
Hershey was one of them, and now here we go.
So they're
all right, go
playing
ahead.
a little catch up on with this one. That's how I look at it.
Chocolate, not ketchup.
They're playing a little chocolate on this one.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, the 3 different size towers. I think it's fine. It's kind of cool, actually. If you're a little scared to go on the big one, and I mean, it's kind of cute, but it's also kind of stupid.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's what makes that's what's making this unique. There's the 3 different sizes. There's a lot of triple tower complexes. There's the 1-4 tower complex in Power Tower at Cedar Point, but these are all different heights, which has never been done.
Really, they should have just gone with the biggest one, and then whenever the kid is old enough or tall enough to want to do it, then fine. Then that's when they do it, instead of building a smaller tower to accommodate shorter, younger people.
Well, that's my first thought. My first thought when I read about this was the tallest one is going to have a long line.
Probably, yeah.
And then the other one's not so much, and that's really stupid. The capacity increases with each one, which is interesting. Well, the capacity is increased overall. This must be a new, slightly modified version for SNS.
It is.
Because the seats are all around, I saw in the artwork.
That was something they revealed maybe last year or a couple years ago.
They could have just done the 20-person capacity on all 3 of them when this was what they should have done. So that's just weird. But anyway, I'm thinking the tallest one will have the high line all the time. But actually, maybe not. Because I do understand Hershey is a very family-oriented park, and a lot of little kids go there. So I understand what they're playing to here. I do. It still seems kind of weird to me. The best I can come up with is the middle tower is the one that's redundant. I can see see doing the small one with the lower height requirement and something for the kiddies to do, and a kind of a kids first tower. But the middle one seems silly, because it seems like once you're tall enough for the middle one or brave enough for the middle one, aren't you going to do the taller one in the same day, probably?
Yeah, you're totally right about this. That middle Reese's tower doesn't need to be there at all.
You'll do the 131-foot middle one, and then you'll do the big one in the same day, most likely. So it's just like, why have the middle one? I think they should have done 2 289-foot ones, and then just the 180. I'll take the 180. because it's a unique family park. Hersheypark is. It's its own kind of unique experience. It's got its own unique audience, I feel.
Yeah. You mean they're not going to do like a 250-foot tower or something?
Right.
They're sticking with
or even the idea
slightly shorter
that the
tower.
tallest one is just shy of 200 even. I can see that. But they should have just done the two at the 189 and then 180-foot tower.
One at 80 foot, yeah.
Yes, exactly. You got me. So
I
that's
agree.
sort of where at first I wanted to say they should just all been the highest height. But then I kind of brought myself back and I realized, I don't have kids, but I do understand like where an 80-foot tower might come in handy or be kind of neat for a kid to get into drop towers. But the middle one, just, I don't get it. That's where I think they're making a mistake. Who's really going for the medium one?
Right.
It just seems like the only reason why people might do that one is because the line for the tall one gets long and they separate themselves out. Like, well, this is tall enough to get the idea, and they do the 131 Reese's Tower just to kind of have a shorter wait.
Yeah, they're only going to go to that one if it has a shorter line, but they really want to do the tall tower.
Right. I feel like that's the only thing that's going to happen there. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So that's where I think it's a little silly. But anyway, it seems like all three towers are going to do both shot and drop mode.
I think so.
That's the implication. Although only the Hershey's Tower has it in the description.
Yeah, but I think they're all going to function the same way.
But it looks like 'cause all three, the logos have up and down arrows, which indicate that it might do both for all three. I guess that's to be seen. I guess that's one of those things that the park may not even know yet.
Right, they can determine that.
They could build it and then test, and then they could decide.
Sure. Yeah.
On the fly. So we'll see how that plays out, the different modes that they might use. The fact, though, that the tallest one, which is the only one that I'm going to ride anyway, probably, will be a double shot. That is good. That is a big thumbs up from me. They should all be doubled. I'm pretty sure we said this on the show before, but they should all be doubled.
They definitely should be.
Once they created the ability to do that, I don't know when that was, if it was right out of the gate or not, but when they debuted these towers, every tower should run on that mode. I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't. It's stupid.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to choose just to drop or shoot.
Yeah, they should all run both. I do think there's additional hardware you need to be able to run both, though. So I think that's why there's a lot of installations that it's not like they could just flip a switch and do it.
Okay.
I understand ones that are already built need some additional stuff to be able to do both, but still, give us both. I mean, any new tower being built today certainly should have both. So Hershey is making the right call there. I think it's a fine installation. It is a ride category that they do not have, so I think a drop and shot is good. I think they should just do two tall and one short. That's my only critique there. And then whatever, they should have come up with a better name. I mean, Hershey is big on doing contests, right? Don't they usually contest the name? I know at least Roller Soaker was a contest. That's long gone now, but and I know Stormwater was a contest.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that?
I don't know. It's a good question.
They should have at least given us three to choose from. Did one of those deals, I would have wrote in Disaster Transport, but that's just me. But yeah, Mantis. Right? Hey, he could have had triple Mantis.
Right.
Triple praying mantis. Only other noteworthy thing here is Flying Falcon. This will be the last season. Flying Falcon's going out. That's an icon in that park, I think. I know it's not unique to that park. When I was a kid, I thought it was. As you do when you're a kid, you think like, oh, this is the only one like this. It's a Husk Condor. There's not that many left, though, overall. I guess we still have Six Flags Great America and Great Escape.
Oh,
Upstate
Great Escape.
New York has one.
Okay.
There's two for sure that I know that still operate in this country.
Mm-hmm. And there is one in La Ronde.
And La Ronde has one, yes.
In Canada.
So there's one international one. So you can still get it in some other locations, but it's a little sad.
A little bit.
Go. A little bittersweet.
Yeah, they couldn't just move it. I guess they're just going to scrap it.
A little bittersweet, like dark chocolate.
Okay.
For Hershey to be... I have been to Hersheypark this season, and I did see they were having problems with the ride. It was constantly up and down throughout the day. I guess rather than try to do a whole rehab, they're just going to scrap it. So that's kind of sad. So I've always liked that ride.
Yeah.
In that park, especially.
Yeah, I like those rides, yeah.
So that's kind of sad, but Triple Tower will be all right. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be all right in the end.
We've got breaking news. This is Franklin Fodrick once again with Thanks for Riding Early Access News. Kings Island has announced a new roller coaster for 2017, Mystic Timbers. It'll be a 3,265 foot long, 109 foot high, reaching top speeds of 53 miles per hour, 16 airtime hill having, Great Coasters International Woody. It's just what Kings Island needs, another Woody. The ride will feature a magical tree theme. Wonderful. Reports up to this point are that the ride will be in the woods in the back of the park. In addition to a timberific ride through the woods, the ride will feature a top-secret finale. Kings Island and Cedar Fair are being very close-lipped on this one. We can only speculate. What's in the shed?
All right, Franklin, thanks again. A lot of breaking news today. What the hell? Mystic Timbers. Another wooden coaster.
Another wooden coaster at Kings Island.
That doesn't need one.
Nope. This is not what this park needs. They have Racer.
They have a junior.
They have the junior one,
Woodstock Express.
And they have the Beast.
They have the Beast, for goodness sakes.
So why do they need another wooden coaster? I really don't know.
Well, they don't have a GCI yet.
They don't.
Here we go. The only thing I can think of is they're finally getting their fourth, just like King's Dominion did. A ton of years ago.
Okay.
Because they got Hurler, which they totally didn't need back in the 90s. And now here, it took until 2016, Kings Island doing the same thing, getting their redundant fourth. Although I do believe this will be a lot better than Hurler.
Yeah, I mean, I like GCI. Layout looks like low to the ground, hugging the terrain kind of ride.
Yeah, it looks good.
It could be good. It could be fine. It's not anything we haven't seen before, though.
Yeah.
For the most part.
It's not. It's going to be back in the woods, though.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be good, yeah.
Personally, I feel, if anything, this ride could be a kick-ass night ride.
Could be, yeah.
I'm looking for that more than anything. I feel like it might be just okay in the day, but I think it may be one of the better night rides.
The only thing that's a mystery here is there's something that's going to happen towards the end of the ride in a shed.
The shed.
From the look of it,
what's in the shed?
It's at the very end of the ride, so it appears to be that this is the last thing you're going to experience before you roll back into the station. So I think, at least right now, this appears to be a really bad mistake. Because you want to have that at your halfway point in the ride, or maybe your 2/3 point. You want to have some more coaster ride after whatever's going to happen in the shed.
Or the beginning, if it came down to it.
Or in the beginning, sure, possibly, that could work. But you don't want it right at the very end, and then you just roll back in the station. Whatever happens in the shed, it's not going to be a good finale. I don't care what it is.
Oh, wow. It'll be anticlimactic, most likely. Because, you want more...
It will be. I'm guaranteeing it.
You want another drop, or series of drops, or something, or a helix, or something. Yeah, preferably a launch. Usually you have a themed indoor section, but then you launch out of it. So, yeah, it is kind of weird. It's right before the end.
And what are they going to do? They're going to do like a drop thing, like in Verbolten? It's like, that sucks.
That's a rumor.
It's not fun.
Yeah, we know firsthand doesn't really work.
Whatever they do in there, it's not going to be great.
Or just nothing movement-wise, but just you see shit.
You're just looking at something that's not going to work.
This is a Cedar Fair Park we're talking about here. Like, nothing that they're going to build. They're not going to build like a Kong animatronic or something that's going to, knock your socks off and blow you away. It's like, it's just going to be whatever it is. It's just going to probably be underwhelming. Yeah, I know what you're getting at. Yeah, what's in the shed that's pretty silly. And it's funny that they're using that to really sell this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like they know that the wooden coaster itself, as great as it might be, and it could come out really awesome. It really could.
Oh, it definitely could. Sure.
It's not going to necessarily pull people in or sell you the ride because you've done a wooden coaster before. So they're trying to use this shed as the big hook to get you in. It's very weird to me. This feels totally Paramount. This is Paramount era stuff for this park. It just feels like this is what they would have done. I just think just pretend Mystic Timbers is a movie. If Mystic Timbers was a recently released horror film about a town that was consumed by magical trees that took it over and killed everybody. And then this is your latest Paramount edition. That's what they did. That's what they did. And the movie had to not be successful, by the way. A
Right.
not successful film, just a moderately in and out of theater film that just barely made even on budget. And then for some reason they picked that to make their new ride after. And then this is what they used to do, though. They used to make odd installation choices in parks.
Yeah.
Like a fourth Woody in a park, like this. And to just put it in the back of the woods and just have this weird shed thing and put it at the end. This is what they did. This is like a very Paramount-like move. I really wonder if this was like some plans that they found somewhere and dusted off. They blew the dust off, literally blew the dust off, and then they're gonna do it.
It's possible.
Because this is not Cedar Fair in any way.
No, it's really not.
Nothing about this is Cedar Fair-like.
The only thing that doesn't fit with the Paramount thing is that Cedar Fair is going with a name brand. Paramount would have gone with some weird off-brand to build this ride. To design and build it.
I see what you're saying. As far as the manufacturer.
Yeah. They wouldn't have gone with GCI. They would go with somebody you never heard of.
Yeah,
that has never done anything before.
Out of nowhere, a company that built Son of Beast. They would have done
or
that.
something. Yeah.
What was that?
Exactly.
It was National Amusement
Roller Coaster Association of America, RCAA. I think?
It was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would have done that. You're right. They wouldn't have even done GCI.
Yeah.
You're
or even
right.
the Hurlers. What was that? Coasters International or something.
And they only built those two rides.
They only built those two.
And
It's
that's
like
it.
They love to do that.
So you are right about that. They would have went with some unknown company, but still, it does feel like old Paramount plans that Cedar Fair found and were like, "Oh, this is interesting. Let's do this. What the hell? We have no other idea." There's a definite Adventure Express parallel here, where
Seems that way.
where they do the themed section at the end, and then you think there's gonna be more ride, and then there's not.
Yeah.
So it's so anticlimactic. Like they did that with Adventure Express, so the park might have two of those same things now. It's like you must pay, and the statues, looking so menacing, and then nothing happens. Yeah. Back to the station.
This whole theme is not Cedar Fair style whatsoever.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's not Western theme, and it's not just Kick-Ass Express.
It's wood though.
It is wood.
Lumber Company. They do wood. So theme. They don't like wood coasters though. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's
Cedar Fair doesn't like wood. Why are they
little
building
different
wood?
for them,
That's
yeah.
odd too. There's a lot about this that's very weird.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
totally surprised.
taken aback by this one. I don't know what to think. I haven't processed it fully yet, to be honest. It's very strange. I don't know why they just didn't do the 300-footer over the entrance with the new entrance.
like they've been doing. Yeah, I don't know.
This park seems like a prime candidate for that, and I'm very surprised they didn't do that here.
Bulldoze that really 70s entrance that you walk through. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of glad it's something different, though. Just the same. To contrast with Six Flags, this is totally different.
Yeah, I like, I like GCI. They do good stuff. And I don't know what's gonna be at the end of the ride. Whatever.
What's in the shed?
Yeah.
What's in the shed? What's in the shed? What's in the shed? It was no more than a year and a half ago, and we were in St. Louis, and I asked you, do you think GCI will get any more work? Because the outlook looked kind of grim. I mean, Rocky Mountain taking over with all their work, a lot of it not even being wood, but still, they kind of taken over with doing things to wood rides. And Gravity Group's out there, and it just seemed like, we had just ridden American Thunder, and it was great, but it seemed like, who's really going to order any more of these? And now here we are, looking at 2017, and GCI's got more than one coming up for next year. So parks are calling them up. They must have a killer sales team.
Yeah.
Really working hard, and that's cool. Let's take a look at one of we're looking at home parks here. Dorney Park. Nothing, right?
Nope.
Not a murmur, no rumors, no nothing. That park's never gonna get anything again.
Probably not.
It's really a shame, but that park is just forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just the town, the locals, I think, because they hate it. Cedar
That's
Fair.
another part.
Cedar Fair
Yeah.
just gets tired of fighting, and they don't know what to do, so they just don't do anything.
That's right.
So Dorney Park has got nothing coming up. But what about the flagship of Cedar Fair and probably the best all-around regional park out there, Cedar Point? What are we looking at for 2017? They just got a major coaster for 16, so they're going to take a year off, right?
I don't know.
Well, I would have thought they might have, but we got some news that came out. It looks like the streak is ending for First Undertaker, and now Mean Streak. The streak is over.
Confirm that it's going to close. This will be the last
Streak.
season.
Wow.
Now, this is a ride that is universally disliked.
Is it now? Universal Studios hates this ride.
Yes. Not say that's going to close. It is not a very good ride.
Yeah, I'm not upset. I'm surprised it took this long.
Yes,
I
I think
been-
everybody is. Because it's been rumored to close for however many years
Yeah,
now.
I've been waiting for at least a decade for this ride to close. It's still a little, the slightest little part of me that was like a little like, oh, you know, just because any ride where you've been on a bunch of times, you know, it's you know, it's you know, a little
Yeah, I
nostalgia
know.
for you. It's a
Yeah.
little something. It's like, I did like the fact that I never waited for it ever.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Cedar Point in anywhere near where this ride was new, so I don't know this ride with a wait. I only know it as a walk-on, like 2000 and later. So it's always a little part of you that feels that way. But this is one of those where I had to kind of snap myself out of it, and like slap myself in the face. And it's like, come on, man. I mean, this ride doesn't need to be there. It takes up so much real estate. They could do so much with that land that will free up now. And this is a good call because you don't need Mean Streak. It was never good, and Cedar Fair doesn't even care for wood. And it had brakes on the first drop, for goodness sakes. I mean, once they did that, it was like that ride had nothing. I'll always fondly remember though the final ride I had on it because it was at night, and I hadn't done that. I don't know that I ever had done that ride at night before that. If I had, it was like back in 2000 or so, so it had been a long time. And the final ride I took on that was one of the better, if not best, rides I ever had. It was just kind of a special night for other reasons, really. But it was a fun enough ride on that, and I'll always remember that. And other than that, I'm good. I'm sure you feel the same way. I mean, you're good, right?
I do. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not disappointed that I'm not going to have a final ride or anything. It's
Yeah, it's okay.
It's no big deal. I mean, it was not great. If you wanted to judge a ride on looks, like you would have thought this would have been such an awesome ride.
Oh, yeah. It really is massive.
Yeah, this may have been the biggest disparity between like what a ride looked like, if you judged it by its cover, kind of thing, and what it was, because you would have thought this was going to be such a great. You were in for such an awesome experience, and then you did it, and it was like, oh, that was it, huh?
You know, it's another one like that is Fahrenheit at Hersheypark.
Ah, that's a good call.
Looks
yeah.
really good on paper, or even just
No, I'm not
when you're
talking about
looking
paper.
at
I'm
it.
talking about like looking at it. Yeah,
But yeah,
Being
that's what I
there,
meant, yeah.
standing in the ride's presence. Yeah,
And then the ride
That-
just really sucks when you get on it.
that's true. Fahrenheit kind of has that effect. Not as much though. I still think the biggest disparity between
Yeah,
looks and ride
this is a bigger,
was Mean Streak, and I'm only gonna say was because it's virtually done already. It's only got a few more weeks left. It may already be gone by the time this comes out. But as far as Fahrenheit, it also shares that. Yes, definitely.
So, we don't know what's going to
We can only speculate. Yeah,
replace it at this point.
something about a sandal,
Yeah, something about a sandal.
a flip flop.
The first thing that
So it's a shoe store. Clearly,
this has got to be a shoe store.
it's gotta be the Sandusky location of Famous Footwear. Famous Footwear finally coming to Sandusky. I'm so happy.
The first thing that everyone is saying is, oh, it's gonna be Rocky Mountain, right? They're just gonna Rocky Mountain this ride.
Yeah, very.
I really am not so sure about that. You have to keep in mind that's a Six Flags thing. Cedar Fair has not worked with Rocky
has
Mountain yet,
Never done it. Yeah.
so I'm not so quick to say that this is gonna be Rocky Mountain.
I agree.
I actually think there's a better chance that they're just gonna demolish it and build something from the ground up. You know, Rocky Mountain or not, it could be.
I feel the same way. Yeah, it's not Cedar Fair has not done it. This would be a hell of a one to start on. You know, not on one of their smaller ones somewhere else in the chain, but to just go right for this giant monstrosity of a ride. Not that it was. I mean, it was on par with the size of Texas Giant, which is where Six Flags started. So, I mean, you know, we know now Rocky Mountain can handle it for sure, but. Yeah, this is also one of those like, you know, what do I want to see? What do I think I'm going to see? What do I think I'm going to see? I don't know. I think it's maybe 50% chance Rocky Mountain at this point, but I'm leaning away from it. I mean, the flip-flop thing, I mean, that makes you think water park. So at first I was thinking, oh, it's going to be a water park expansion, maybe. And that's really disappointing. They're going to take, like, regular park land and give it to water park? But that doesn't make that much sense. I mean, that land where Mean Streak sits does not connect to their water park. So, unless they're going to build a new water park in there and then tear down the original water park and put coasters there, that goes around Magnum. Magnum kind of cuts through the water park a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it sits right now. I mean, Cedar Point's the flagship. That's where they put all the money. So I wouldn't put anything past them. I mean, if they wanted to tear down the original water park, put a new one in, all new, I mean, they would do it. I could see it. So that's just a thought that came to mind. Could a flip-flop mean something with Rocky Mountain? Like, we're putting new shoes on this baby. Like the topper track. Like we're putting the new topper on it. I don't know.
Or they're flip-flopping.
To stretch, but...
Or they're flip-flopping from wood to steel.
Flip-flop. Yeah, it's flip-flopping.
Look at it that way. I don't know. This is all speculation.
I mean,
knows?
Honestly, these viral campaigns piss me off. I'm not a big fan of them. It's stupid. That's why I don't... And I think this is the first time we've ever mentioned one on the show. And there's a reason for that, because I don't play into them. I don't really give a shit, honestly. And I just wait for the announcement to come out.
Yeah.
Because that's all that really matters. I mean, I don't play into this normally, but whatever. It's a Cedar Point, so we gave it... Really, we're talking about this because of Mean Streak, not because of the flip-flop. But, so yeah, that's that. End of an era with the Mean Streak. We'll see. It's to be seen. We'll replace it. But Rocky Mountain, I don't think... Oh, what I want to see, though, to get back to that, I actually hope it's not Rocky Mountain.
Ah, okay.
It's not bad. They're good, but I've already done it both ways. I've done custom Rocky Mountain, and I've done the retrack Rocky Mountain, and I'm fine with all the ones that are there. I'm not saying that any one that's been done so far is a mistake, but I'm over it. I don't need to see any more. Maybe a couple more originals ground up, just to see how many more crazy inversions and crazy angles they can try to hit and make it work, and you don't get hurt somehow, like on Goliath at Great America. Sure, maybe do Goliath with the second half somewhere else.
Yeah, okay.
I'd love to see that, maybe. But these retrack deals, like, all right, I'm good with those. I don't need to see any more of those. I understand the value in it, and I'm sure we are going to see more, but just from Six Flags. But we don't need any more. We don't need the other companies to go into that too. I don't want to see Cedar Fair start. Yeah. And not only does Mean Streak not need it, but if they do it and it works out, then they'll do it in other parks and other rides.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't want to see that necessarily either.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need to see, like you said, another Rocky Mountain here. They're getting more than enough business these days, so I don't feel bad for them if this is
I'd rather see them tear Mean Streak
not a
down
Rocky Mountain
and build a GCI.
I'd be totally fine with that if they want to go wood, or if it's going to be another coaster. Who knows what it's going to be?
They kind of should, though, right? It's Cedar Point, but it's later days, But lately Cedar Point is not all about coasters anymore. So it's like Cedar Point, the majority of their history, their modern history, I'd still say this would probably be a coaster to replace it. But I mean, now it's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Mean Streak is so big. You could build a coaster and something else in its place.
You could build a land.
Yeah, you really could.
I mean,
you could do a lot with that space.
Cedar Fair doesn't do lands, but if they did, you could build a whole land over there. Well, I mean, water ride. They're down a water ride. I mean, they gave up on Shoot the Rapids.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe they'll try another flume.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right. Unfortunately, it's like, yeah, right. That's what I would. I mean, that's honestly what you should do. Yeah, you build a coaster. I don't even know what they need right now. I can't even begin to think, but some kind of coaster that you need. But that probably should be 18 or 19. 17 should be new log flume.
Yeah, or like one of those Mack water coasters or something. There's a bunch of things out there you could try.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. They could up their coaster count and also
have a water ride.
So that would actually be really great. Yeah, Mack water coaster. Yeah, because I mean, I want someone to call SNS and try to do an aero flume, but whatever. It's never gonna happen. I know. Get over it. I understand. Yeah, Mack water coaster. Great idea.
You know what? Maybe they showed a flip flop. Who knows?
They're flipping and flopping. The underlying thing here, though, is that how the excitement of what might come is definitely the story here. Mean Streak is just kind of like, it's about time. I get it.
Yes, yes.
You know, it's
No, it's overdue. It's overdue.
it's overdue, exactly. So mean streak is whatever. We'll drink one last one to the old streakster. One last. There you go. It's a mean streak. Good riddance.
Yeehaw! Tech Shitter here in Frontier Town. I want to tell you about Mean Streak Lumber. It seems that all of a sudden, a whole heck of a lot of lumber has become available. This here's the finest cheap crap wood you'll ever lay your hands on. It's the same boards that provided you with a crap herky-jerky ride experience for too many years. And now, you can use it to build your own handmade herky-jerky crap. Build a rough, unstable shed. Create a large but hollow addition to your house. Make a fence with this horse shit. Build yourself a second shed and have your friends calling you Two Sheds. Howdy, partner. I'm Tex Two Sheds Shitter. Ooh-wee! Build your very own rough-riding backyard roller coaster. It's sure to still not be as worthless as the ride this wood originally comes from. Oh, and bring the little partners down to Frontier Town to the Mean Streak Lumberyard. We've got plenty of splintered wood blocks and used brake fins for the kids to play with. Guaranteed they'll have a better time than if the ride was open. So come on down to Mean Streak Lumber. There's never any lines, nothing different from before at all. Wood's never been this mean. It's Mean Streak Lumber. It's just awful.
All right, so thank you for listening, and have a good night, everybody.
Oh, we've got one more.
What? What are you talking about?
Got one more confirmation for 2017.
What do we got?
Disney has confirmed that the Tower of Terror at California Adventure will be closing down, and they're going to retheme it to Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be called Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
See, set yourself free. Break out, come on, be you, best you can be. Break out, come on.
All right, so like I said, we're about done here, so have a good night, everybody. Thanks for... Well, I didn't see that movie. I know nothing about that whole thing.
I didn't see the movie either,
This whole
so
Guardians thing, I don't know.
it's all new to me too.
I don't read comics. I don't know what that's about. So, does it make sense? Why are you dropping?
I don't know.
Why are you going up and down on a shaft? That's my first question.
I think it's supposed to be the tower will turn into the bad guys. I'm not even sure. Warehouse, prison thing, where he has captured the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I guess you're gonna help break them out. I think is what is happening. What will happen? Something like that. Why you're dropping? I don't know.
You want me to take a gander at some artwork, don't you?
Sure, take a look.
I mean, the first picture, it's like, I'm out. I'm tapping out here. I mean, come on. It looks exactly like the Tower of Terror that's been in that park for about 10 years now, with a bunch of crap all over it.
Yeah.
Bunch of fake metal garbage. Something I like to call space junk. They're just going to make it look like space junk, but it has the exact same profile. Like, they're even keeping those weird little things at the top where it, like, sticks out, which was never a great look in the first place, I thought. I thought it made the hotel look stupid. It's got, like, ears on the top. Like, the top floor...
Jutting out from the sides?
Yeah, the top floor,
okay.
like, is larger than the floors below it. It looks stupid.
Oh, all right. Okay.
It's like dumb fantasy architecture. Like, no hotels are built like that. I don't think. Well, this one was always cartoony versus the Florida version, the original.
Mm-hmm.
This was always too cartoony for me. I didn't like that. They went cartoon style in this one, so even the exterior was a little cartoony. But they're even gonna keep that? Like, is this really? I mean, come on. The biggest coincidence in the world. Is this really what the bad guy's lair looks like in Guardians of the Galaxy?
I have no idea.
With the two things jutting out on the top. Just happened to be exactly what the Tower of Terror in California look like? I mean, I'm going to take a big guess here. I'm going to say no. It's not what it really looked like. I'm just going to go on record here. We can get into the minutiae of it all, but I mean, it's just this is dumb. They built this thing to be what it is. Yes, it is the second. They already had one on the other coast, but there's a lot of things where there's both. There's 2 Space Mountains. There's 2 Thunder Mountains. There's 2 Splash Mountains. Whatever. Regardless of whether they should have done it or not, they did. They built a second Tower of Terror. It's not as good as the original, mainly because they went cheaper on it. Cartoon aside, it's just cheaper because they didn't do the forward-moving part of the ride, and that was the biggest detriment to this. I think it's also lower capacity than the original. Something like it has like 2 shafts.
Oh, is it really?
Or something, or it's... I forget exactly what it is now. It's been so many years since I thought about this, but, you know, we know the story. They cheaped out on California Adventure as a whole. That whole park was done for Disney on the cheap. Not on the cheap in the overall scheme of things, but for Disney it was. And so they're going to pour a bunch of money into putting a new facade on Tower of Terror. And it's still going to look kind of like the same thing. Like, they're not going to erase it in your mind like what it was. I mean, I guess there'll be a kid that's born today, like literally today, as I'm speaking, and they'll only know it like this, and that's good for them, but it's like, they're not going to erase everybody's memory of like, it looks like the Tower of Terror too much. If this is really the artwork of what it's going to look like, I mean, you got to make it look different in every way. It's still going to be kind of a big, tall thing, but I mean, you got to make it look more different. It's just stupid. Just putting a bunch of garbage on top of it. You know, but I mean, what else can you do, really? I mean, they're not going to tear it down and rebuild it, so they're trying to save money by keeping the basis of what they had, but it's going to be stupid. And then, I mean, who knows? Does anyone know what's going to be on the inside? I'm sure no one does.
Well, there's a couple other pieces of artwork there.
Oh, why not? Oh, so the villain is called the Collector, and he collects things? Oh, so the Q is going to become his museum of space artifacts.
Of space junk.
This is hard to tell. I mean, this image of what the Q could be. Is this the lobby? Is this replacing the lobby of the hotel? Or is this the boiler room? I mean, I guess we don't know.
No idea.
It looks more like the boiler room. I mean, if they make the boiler room into that's actually cooler because the boiler room was so dumb and cartoony. Like faces for boilers, whatever it was. Versus the Florida one, which was much better.
Are you sad to see this Tower of Terror go?
No.
And you're clearly not really on board with what they're going to turn it into.
No, there's no saving this. That's the thing. It's
okay.
It goes back. They probably shouldn't have built this second one, but they did, and so just keep it or close it. Keep it or implode the fucker, like an old Las Vegas hotel casino. Just implode it and just start over with something new. Don't give me this rehashed shit. And of course, I see it on there, just skimming through. It's going to close the existing Tower of Terror in early 2017. So then this won't be ready till what, 18?
It's supposed to open summer 2017.
Oh, it's going to be a few month thing? Mm-hmm. Oh, so then that's going to be total crap then. I mean, there's no way it could be good. So that's why the building's going to have the exact same profile. They literally are going to put some, like, dumb fiberglass molded pieces that just made you look like space metal and other space junk over the existing building. It's just going to hang that over, and they're just going to change the couple of sets and whatever you see on the screens during the ride, and there you go. And the queue, I guess, will get a redo.
Yeah.
That's all they're going to do. So at the end of the day, it's the same ride.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. If they're going to turn it around in that amount of time.
They're not going to add the forward moving part. We all know that.
Right.
They're not going to do anything. It's still going to have the hallway that you pass through. You see the exiting guests while you're getting on, which is total cheese, for Disney.
Yeah.
And the fact that they did it right the first time, like 12 years earlier to when this one opened, it's no excuse for that. It's still going to have all those same problems. It's still just going to be an up and down ride. But you might as well just keep it and put the money somewhere else. That's my deal here. That's all I got. I mean, I don't do this. This is stupid. It's the same ride. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's lipstick on a pig. as they call it.
It is actually. This is bad, but it's bad because it's like you were saying, it's lazy. Yeah, they should just build a brand new attraction instead of trying to do a real quick, cheap retheme. And as far as I know, Tower of Terror in California Adventure is not unpopular. It's not like nobody's riding that thing. In fact,
I guess, yeah, it gets a crowd, I guess.
yeah, in fact, do you remember Ghostbusters that came out over the summer? The new 2016 Ghostbusters?
Oh,
You remember that?
well, yeah.
And there was
I
a
do.
huge backlash against the movie.
Oh, before it even came out. Yes,
Yeah.
that was the big thing.
The same thing is happening with this.
Really?
Disney people are really huge Disney fans are really, really against this. I quickly looked on the Disney Twitter account, and I was on there just because I was watching the video that where Joe Rohde's introducing this new thing. Apparently, he's behind this, by the way.
Oh, great. So it's gonna have a lot of junk.
Yes, and I started to read some of the comments about it because I was curious, and every single comment was, "I can't believe you're doing this. This is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. This is awful." So fans are not for this at all.
Okay.
In fact, they're really, really against it. So I don't really see what they're gaining here. I know they want to put Marvel into the parks, but this just seems like this is such a half-assed way. This is like less than half-assed. I don't know what this is.
This is very weird. It's very doesn't really feel like something Disney would do.
It doesn't. You're right. It really doesn't.
This feels like the original rumors that were coming out. It just this should be just that. It should be like the rumors, and you read it, and you're like, "Oh, that's never gonna happen," and then it never happens.
Yeah.
It's like one of those, and it's really weird that it is happening. But Disney's been making nothing but bad moves for a while now, so it doesn't really shock me that much anymore.
This is a little shocking to me. It's worse than what they have been doing in the past bunch of years. I think this is kind of a new low in the recent history
Oh wow!
in terms of the attractions and their parks.
Well, they do overlay attractions.
Sure.
They've done it, but it's always been because what they did and what they opened was a colossal failure.
Exactly.
There was
And-
that Superstar limo, which is just across the way, essentially in the same area of the park, at California Adventure from this Tower of Terror. That comes to mind immediately. If people are riding Tower of Terror and it has fans, I know the concept has fans because they only did the second one because it was such a huge hit in Florida. We talk about it not being as good, but that's us. I think a lot of the hardcore Disney fans, though, don't care. I don't know if they really ever saw it as that much worse than the Florida one.
It's universally accepted that the Florida one is the better one, but people still like the California one a lot, from what I gather.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that they still thought it was fine. They probably
Yeah.
didn't get as caught up in the little details like we have over the years.
Sure. Another thing that I'm seeing from the immediate backlash to this is some people are even saying, "Oh, Marvel is not Disney. Why are they putting Marvel in the parks?"
You seen that?
Yeah.
Well, they better get on the reality train
Yeah.
because it is, whether you like it or not. Pixar was not Disney
Sure. Yeah.
up until whatever it was. It's been a while now, right? Probably 10 years or so. 15 years ago when Pixar was super hot with the original couple of Toy Stories and the first Finding Nemo and all that shit, they were not Disney.
no. What
They
about
were their own company.
what about the Lucas properties? What about Indiana Jones and Star Wars? No one has a problem with those.
And actually, Indiana Jones, and Star Wars were not Disney when they were in the parks.
That's right. So
Now they are, but that's later.
everyone
much later.
loves the fact that Star Wars is coming to the parks. No one has a problem with that.
Everybody loved the fact Star Wars came in the 80s with Star Tours.
Sure.
But they were just like licensing it. They didn't. Star Wars was not Disney, but it was in the park.
Now this raises another question. Do you think that the other tower in Florida has its days numbered? Because do you think that they want to keep paying for the Tower of Terror license? Because with the California one, they're switching over to something that Disney owns. They don't have to pay a fee now.
Oh, I hope not.
Is that their thinking?
I hope its days are not numbered. I have no clue.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know this Disney. This is like, we broke up a couple years ago, me and Disney, and now I don't even know it. It's like, I don't know you anymore, Disney. I don't. They're shoehorning Star Wars in Frontierland. It's like, I don't know. After that, and then this bullshit, this Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, they'll do anything, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's like, no, actually, that makes too much sense. The fact that this is dumb enough as it is that they're doing this one Tower of Terror, but the fact that they do this on the same ride on the other coast, that almost makes too much sense. It's like, the way they are now, it's like, no, they'll do Guardians of the Galaxy, they'll do a Guardians of the Galaxy overlay in Florida, but it'll be something else.
Okay.
They'll transform Haunted Mansion or something. And then it'll be Guardians of the Galaxy takes over Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Like in Florida. And that's like the way that they're thinking these days. Right? I mean, you gotta admit, right? That isn't so far-fetched.
No, it's really not.
Because they'd be like, well, we kept the original Tower of Terror, but the second one will do that. So the second Haunted Mansion, let's just put a bunch of space junk on the front of that, and that'll be the next Guardians of the Galaxy attraction. That's where they're at, I think, these days.
I think this is a bad idea, but I don't think it's a bad idea because Tower of Terror is going away. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I am.
I don't think it's...
You asked me, I didn't hesitate. No,
right.
Yeah, I don't really... Again, it was redundant. They never needed to have the other one. This goes it's like a regional park philosophy. Like we talk about Six Flags. It's like, do you need to have the same thing on each...
Right.
In each resort. It's like, no, you don't.
Right, and I don't think it's a bad idea because of the theme that they're going to use for the new version. I'm fine with Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't seen the movie. I don't have anything against it. I think it's a bad idea because it's so incredibly lazy. Just build a new ride, guys, and leave this one alone.
Like, let it go. It's like, yeah, you screwed up. It wasn't as good the second time.
Yeah.
So, move on.
Just build something that will make a lot more sense with the theme that you're going to do.
Yeah, it is incredibly lazy because Disney's philosophy was all about attractions as experiences. And, in each attraction you get an experience that is supposed to be complete. It's supposed to be absolute, from the queue through the actual, there's usually a pre-show, then the ride, then the exit. And there's usually supposed to be some twists and turns in there, and you're not necessarily supposed to know everything that's going to happen. But like in this case, it's like, now you know, because it's like you did this ride already. Mm-hmm. So even the first time, it really is, even to the most hardcore fans, like the only worth this has is in, let's see what they did with this. But that's not what Disney's about. It's supposed to be the most immersive attractions like on Earth.
Yeah,
that's
right.
their thing. It's supposed to be taking you, and then in the case of Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a major movie that came out just a couple years ago, and the franchise itself is still going on. There's going to be more coming out. It's supposed to be like taking you into that universe, like you're in the movie. But how can you be if this is an overlay? Well, you get online, you know the vehicle you're going to board, you know the seats you're going to sit in, you know exactly what the ride's going to do, and then it really is just, it's like you have no choice but to be thinking in your mind just like, well, what's going to be different? What do they do with this part? This is going to make even casual people, it kind of forces them into that mindset, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's not like a typical, the first time you're doing a Disney e-ticket attraction where it's like, well, I don't know exactly what this is going to be. But it's like, you do know exactly what this is going to be. And it's like, you've been in that building before, and you've been in that queue before, and that's a cheaper experience, as for Disney. I mean, I guess this is sort of like Stitch Encounter.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah. Everything's the same, except it's like the script is different.
You can only go so far with that.
Oh, yeah.
So in the end, it's only going to be absolute in its own right, this Guardians of the Galaxy version, to people who've never ridden the other version. Oh,
and you can get into that. Why is this space junk castle in Hollywoodland and California Adventure? I mean, none of it makes any sense. That park is kind of a mess anyway.
Well, none of that park makes sense.
So I mean, that's the least of your worries. Yeah, I know people are concerned about that, but the bigger concern is that that Disney is doing this to begin with, but then also, like you said, that you won't be able to separate Tower of Terror from this ride if you've ridden Tower of Terror before. It would be impossible in your mind.
Yes.
You're gonna be riding Tower of Terror in your mind while you're experiencing this ride.
Yeah.
You're never gonna be able to separate them.
I could see people being a little more concerned as far as the look in Hollywood Land or whatever it is, Backlot
I think it's Hollywood.
Land or whatever the hell it is, because this is big, though. This sticks out.
Oh yeah, this is gonna screw up every sight line.
This is part of the
which I know Disney is huge on.
the skyline of that park.
Because you can see that tower from a lot of
think
places.
Even isn't there places in Disneyland that you can see it?
I'm sure there must be.
You know, the slightly cartoony Hollywood Tower is one thing, but yeah, now it's space junk, which is almost kind of meant to look ugly, but it still looks like Tower of Terror. That's not going to be good.
I mean,
So I can see people being a little more concerned about this one because
Yeah.
there is a heavy external, even when you're not even near the attraction, but you can still see it.
I guess if you're still really big fans of Disney and this park in particular, I guess you'd have to hope that this is just step one in a whole process of adding a Marvel Land to California Adventure.
They need to transform that whole backlot section into.
I guess you'd have to hope that they're doing that, but who knows? I don't know.
They don't know.
I know one thing that's been brought up is that no, of course they don't. The Frozen show just opened, and that's right next to Tower of Terror, and
So that's the old Aladdin theater.
yeah. So I mean,
The
they're
Hyperion.
not gonna just shut that down in like a year or something.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there you go.
So I mean, I don't know. The rest of that land though, there's nothing going on. Muppets is long gone. Monsters Inc. I guess does okay, but I'm sure it's expendable. That eatery, the Hollywood and Dine, has been sitting.
That closed like
Yeah.
a couple months in, didn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't it?
So that's been sitting empty for a really long time. I mean, that whole land is dead. Tower of Terror was the only thing anyone was doing.
There's like a half-assed animation exhibit.
Oh, that-
if that's still open, I don't even
That's
know.
expendable too.
Yeah, it is. But and isn't there like the award wiener hot dog?
Yes, there's a
stand?
hot dog stand.
I love that award wiener. 'Cause
Well, that whole
you know why I love it because it's a dick joke.
yeah.
It's a dick joke in Disney. Get over it.
Whatever. I don't really care. Even if they never build anything else Marvel in that park, it's just that park's a mess.
I don't care.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I don't close the goddamn thing. I don't give a fuck.
It's like they're still trying to fix it, but at the same time, they're still like screwing themselves with trying to fix it. They can't get out of their own way on this.
It's like, no, they really could close that park. I wouldn't give a shit. Because it's like, really, what do I mean, California Screamin', it's like, whatever.
It's not the best coaster.
It's all right, but it's like, if I never rode it again, it doesn't really bother me.
And what? Racers, Radiator Springs Racers. It's like
Oh, that was...
it's like I like
It was
this track
cool.
better.
I mean, yeah, I know, me too, but it's like the animatronics were cool.
oh, they were incredible. Best I've ever seen.
But it's like, whatever. It's...
But they can do that again. Oh no! Well, Rapids is really good though.
Yeah, they are.
You're losing a really good Rapids. That would
That's what the park comes down to.
that would be the biggest loss. Would be those Rapids.
It comes down to our Rapids.
Yeah,
That's
because Soarin' is whatever they have it in Epcot.
It's really sad.
Yeah, that is what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
So they have it. Tower of Terror, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow. So that's why. Okay.
So people have already made up their minds that they hate it, but I'm sure when it opens, people will like it a bunch.
So it's all.
Because that's what happens.
It's one of those. Yeah. That's just it's the cool thing right now. It's the in thing.
Because that's just Disney fans.
To hate on it right now, because
Yes,
but that's weird. 'cause
but Disney fans are extremely forgiving, so
well,
they'll get on board with
they
this.
forgive everything. Yeah. They don't,
Yeah,
I mean,
give it just a little bit more time, and everybody will love it.
now that I could totally see that being written around the internet everywhere, stuff like that. Just oh my god, I can't believe I ever liked Tower of Terror in California because this. I mean, if you thought you liked that, this blows that out of the water, and stupid shit like that. It's just it's an overlay. Even if it's okay, it's just it doesn't change. It's just unfortunate. It's an overlay.
Right.
You know, that's the
really
thing.
hard to get excited
I think
about overlays.
if even up to 2016 right now, if they still had never done the West Coast version of Tower of Terror, they didn't have a dropper. If they still just had the S&S in the back of the park as their only drop ride right now, and then they were just building this now for the first time, and they decided, though, we're not going to give it the same theme. We're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy in California. So that would be a horse of a different color.
Well, that would be acceptable.
Yeah, then it would be kind of like, oh, okay. And then I think it would look totally different because it wouldn't just be putting the space junk over the existing building. It would be like they designed a whole building that made sense for Guardians of the Galaxy in the first place. And yeah, that would be different. But this has an overlay now after the Tower of Terror had been open for 10 years. It's too little too late. Or it's not even, it's just not necessary.
It's not, no, like I said, the ride's popular.
It's just not necessary. This is not good. This is good. This is good, though, for the show.
Yeah.
Another not good Disney. You know, it's like this is endless material that Disney gives us. Well, Disney, you've done it again.
Thanks for riding.